All right, everybody, I am back with a brand new movie review. Last night, I had the opportunity to see the final, or the supposed final film, in the Mission Impossible franchise titled Mission Impossible Final Reckoning, which is a direct sequel to the other 7 films, and especially for Dead Reckoning Part 1, which came out several summers ago. And this movie was delayed for a year. It was actually supposed to come out a year ago, but they wanted to wait for some reason. And the budget on this film was supposedly $400 million, one of the most expensive films ever made, and I don't think they're going to make their money back, although they do expect it to make $200 million over this Memorial Day weekend. We have all of the returning cast from the last film, plus we have the returning director, Christopher McQuarrie, and he's directed at least the last 3. I'm not sure exactly how many he's done, but he is an amazing director. At one point, he was going to be on tap to do The Man of Steel 2 before they decided to scrap everything, and which is a shame because I would like to see him make a Superman film. Now, this film is very interesting. I wanted to go in and love this film, and I'm going to tell everybody right now, it was not as good as Dead Reckoning Part 1. It just wasn't. I wanted it to be. I was hoping it was going to be, but it just didn't live up to those expectations. Now, I'm going to keep this as spoiler-free as possible. What we know from the last film is they needed to find the Sevestival, the submarine, to be able to get rid of this entity that wants to destroy the world. Now, there is a problem with the plot here. When they tell you that the entity wants to destroy the world, there are some flaws here. Number one, and they don't explain this, the fact that if the entity does destroy the world and there's no people left and the internet goes out, it goes out. So it couldn't survive. So it wants to remake the world in its image. That doesn't make any sense because it wouldn't be able to exist. So there is a flaw in the overall design of the villain, which would be the entity in all of this. We do have Gabriel back. He's causing more trouble, but he seemed to be a little more cartoonish in this one, not as scary as he was in Dead Reckoning Part 1. We have everybody coming back except for Ferguson, who was killed in the last film. Now, where this movie kind of falters is its length. Now, at the beginning of the film, they even set up, it's a couple of months later, and there are some moving parts going on here. And you find out that they're still looking for the Sevestival. Now, the crazy part about this is this takes about half the movie to accomplish this, and they go about it in the most common core way you could possibly do it. There's a lot of exposition, they're explaining a lot of stuff, and it just drags on for too long, okay? There's also one cartoonish scene at the beginning that I thought was a little goofy and out of place for a Mission Impossible film. I had seen a couple of reviews today where they said it was that the movie had no humor in it. Oh, and it certainly did. There was one scene at the beginning, and I'm not going to tell you the context, but one character, a camera was close up on their face while there's action happening behind them that you don't get to see, and the whole scene came off as cartoonish as they're going, ooh, ah, like that. And you don't get to see the action. You just get to see the final result. And it came off as a little bit goofy, okay, cartoonish. Outside of that, the first half was really good. The second half is where most of the issues come in. Because when the whole scene where Tom Cruise has to go in the water, that whole scene goes on for way too long. In fact, I took a bathroom break at that point. I'm like, well, they're not going to be breaking off to any other parts of the movie, and this scene is just going on forever. So I went out to go to the bathroom, and when I came back, the scene was still going. It just went on for too long. And there's no dialogue in this scene because it's Tom Cruise underwater. And so it could have been shortened up. There was no story there that had to make it as long as it was. Also, if you've seen the trailer, there is a plane sequence in this film with some amazing stunts. That also went on for way too long. My wife, when we left, that was her complaint. My complaint was in the water. And it was very clear that this movie could have been tightened up by about a half an hour and you wouldn't have skipped anything. Outside of that, the film is still exciting. It's still fun. It's still a Mission Impossible film. And if you like the other films, I think you're going to enjoy this film, but don't expect it to be the big blockbuster that you would have expected with the last couple. It just doesn't reach those levels. So if I had to give this a rating on 1 to 5 stars, I'd give it 3.5. I will own it. I will buy it. I will definitely watch it again. I may go to the theater to see it again. But it is definitely not top notch. I'd give the last one 4 stars, and I think I give Fallout probably 5 stars. The one prior to that with Henry Cavill. That film, I got to tell you, I wasn't reviewing movies back then, but man alive, my hands during that helicopter chase at the end, I was like gripping my seat. I don't usually do that in films. That was an intense film. That was peak Mission Impossible. The last film was still very fun. It was a good summer blockbuster, fun film. Didn't make all that much money because it was part 1 of 2, and I think a lot of people were like, I'll just catch part 1 when it comes on to streaming, and I'll go to the theater to see part 2. I would have probably reversed that. It would have been fun to see the first one and then maybe see this one in streaming, but I encourage everybody, if you're interested in seeing how this all ends, go see it. Now, I personally don't think this will be the end. I think if this movie ends up making money, they will continue the franchise. That's just how I see it. In fact, prior to going and seeing the film, I made a prediction to people around me who I talked to, and what I predicted is exactly what happened in the film. So it's interesting. It definitely is not closing the door on the franchise, but we'll see if they decide to continue with it or not. All right, if you guys have already seen it, please chime off below. Let me know what you guys thought of the film. Where do you rank it as far as the other films go? I would appreciate all of the responses that you guys give. I appreciate all the support. We will see you guys on the next video.